I'm just going to turn some of the attention to some of the rugby matters, and I can't have an England player here and not ask him about some rugby stuff.
Go on, let's have it. Come on.
George, I'm going to be very kind. I'm just going to ask generally your experiences at the World Cup last year. Touch on that, touch on the journey, touch on the final, if you wish.
Yeah, absolutely. That's completely fair enough. Look, I loved it. I thought the whole thing was great. Obviously, you know, there could have been a nice cherry on the cake, but for me, as an individual who, you know, we go and we travel places with rugby, like coming straight from school into rugby, that there hasn't been a lot of time where I've been able to, you know, travel and spend a fair bit of time in other countries. And I thought, for me, like Japan was an unbelievable place, and it's definitely turned my head, and it's where I'm heading over in October. So it's kind of made me really want to experience something, and yeah, I thought it was unbelievable country. Their culture's great. They're very welcoming. It's like a clean place. It's it's very safe, and for me, it was completely different to anything I've ever experienced. It was like another world rather than another country. It was it was class. I loved it. And then obviously the highs and lows in the tournament, but that's what makes up good tournaments. I think obviously on a wider scale, for South Africa to win, it's great. In the way they did it, and and how it's touched the country, I guess, is something which is what sport can do. So fair play to them. They obviously played very well in the final, and had a nice, simple, clear game plan which they just completely stuck to. So for us, like I said, it was a tough one to take in the final, but the journey throughout was something that I'll definitely cherish.
Sure. George, obviously after the World Cup, a lot of the South African rugby attention has shifted quite quickly and looked forward to the British and Irish Lions tour next year. I mean, and that's something that you've obviously been part of in the past, a Lions experience. Just give us a bit of your insight into how special that, that whole touring group experience is, bringing all the nations together for such a, prestigious event. How big and exciting is it, and what are your expectations of how next year might go in terms of the Lions coming to South Africa playing the world champs?
Yeah, it's a different one. It's not like an international or a club setup obviously, but in terms of, like, there is a massive serious side of it, but then also it's there's a good bit of looseness about it as well. And it's, I think it does represent like a proper touring, old school touring squad. Large squad. Everyone's getting some game times in throughout the squad, and then like I said, there's time to let your hair down as well. So I think it will be an unbelievable tournament. I was actually there in 2008. I went there for 3 months. With about 10 of my mates from back home, so that was interesting, and it was a good show then. So, but I imagine it's going to be an even better one now. So, yeah. But it's obviously interesting, the fact that South Africa are world champs, and it kind of puts up a pretty big test.
For sure. George, just a final maybe word from you, just an opportunity to touch on one maybe. I know you moving into a different chapter of your career, a stint in Japan. Maybe discuss a little bit about that, and then beyond that. I mean, is this CBD something that's part of your vision beyond rugby? If you're starting to cast an eye to life after rugby, what does that entail?
Yeah, it's definitely all part of it, I think. I think if you're got to set something up in, for post rugby, probably an ideal time is to do it when you're kind of 28-ish, where you've got a bit more, not respect in the game, but I guess you've had a few more caps, you've got the opportunity to meet a few more people, and I guess put on the contacts that you've made throughout life. And then so yeah, in terms of timing on the 4-5 CBD front, it was it was good timing to set up a couple of years ago. But in terms of Japan, look, I've been at SARu's for 12 odd years now, and about a couple of years ago, I sat down with the head coach, the chairman, and our England coach, and said that I'd be very interested in heading over to either Super 14 or Japan sort of way, and experience something different. And I think the timeline on that was post World Cup, and now I'm here. It's kind of probably a good opportunity, seeing as there's a lot going on in England and the Premiership at the moment. So yeah, I think it's something that I've wanted to do for a good while, and I'm properly pumped about doing it. I think it's for me as an individual, it will tick a lot of boxes and probably make me a bit more rounded, seeing as I've only really been in St Albans and Dorking. So it'll be nice to spend a bit of time longer than a couple months in a different country. So
sure.
And that's my immediate future, I guess.
Awesome. Let's maybe just end with a final word from you, Josh. I mean, thanks for joining us and sharing the story of 4-5 CBD. Maybe just any parting message before you wrap up.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the opportunity. It was great to chat, and we just really want to educate people more around the concept of CBD in South Africa and the potential benefits it may have on any active individual's lifestyle. So yeah, check us out, and if you have any questions, don't be afraid to get in touch.
Awesome.
I would say if you're thinking of trying CBD, just obviously there'll be a lot of stuff out there. Just make sure you're looking at people who've got lab reports, all the proper things in place, because there's a lot good, but there's also a lot of bad. So just pick wisely, I guess.
Cool. Gents, thanks so much, and I hope you keep well during lockdown, and we'll definitely keep an eye on the product and be in touch going forward.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yes, Greg. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Mate.